Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. And my guest this morning, Chief Dr. Fasi Yusuf, is a lawyer and communications consultant. As always, Fasi, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, Yori.
And then right next to him is, Chief Majid Jamil, Executive Editor, Upshot Media. I can't add doctor for you. You have to manage chief like that. Good to see you again, Majid.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good. I mean, well, I suppose good news. I don't know, the guy. I almost said gentleman, but I just remember, hey, take it easy. We have Wadume. After Defense Headquarters, the president, everybody had said, you're going to get to the bottom of this. It appears that it was not put across as a request. It was, we have to get to the bottom of this. I want it investigated. And now we have him. And he's been singing like a canary, as they say. And what he's been saying has been worrisome. The newspapers are very, very helpful in this regard. Just take the lead headline this morning in This Day, How Soldiers Aid My Escape from Police Custody. Fasi, that kind of a headline.
Normally, security gives way to conspiracy and vice versa. Anybody who read the news or who had the news must have known that there were some other forces behind his escape. Because this was a man that was said to have been handcuffed. And he said he just brought out his head from the vehicle that was conveying him and shouted, I'm being kidnapped, I'm being kidnapped. All of a sudden, he said the first checkpoint, the police allegedly did not stop. The second one, so the third one, the military at the checkpoint had to open fire.
Yes.
And that fire, in parentheses, did not affect the kingpin.
The suspect was their charge, their valuable charge.
Yeah, but affected the officers who arrested him. And somehow they said that they could plunge into a gutter, whatever. But the man was able to escape, that he lodged in one house.
Even before escaping, don't forget, a part of his testimony, if that is the word to use, is that they then cut the handcuffs.
Yes, no, I was going to that.
They cut the
handcuffs. It was the following morning, they said, captain, and some, allegedly was there with some of his boys, and they cut the handcuffs and all the rest. And the man just evaporated into thin air. But the sad thing is that we lost gallant officers.
We did.
Who had been very, very active in the war against kidnapping, which is very sad, and they cannot be replaced.
Indeed.
And the complementary thing now is that he's been arrested, and maybe his arrest will lead to unraveling so many other things that had bedeviled our security architecture.
That's the only bright spot in all of this, Majid. And by the way, the authorities say that, look, the capture of
Wadume.
Wadume, that's his nickname, I understand. Yes. Hamidu Bala, a.k.a. Wadume. I understand that in his village there are there's sort of mixed feelings about the situation, meaning that whereas some are jubilant that, oh, thank God, now we can be at peace because there was fear of retribution, that maybe some people sold him out. There are others who are referring to him, of all words in English language, a philanthropist.
Yeah, that's the sad reality that we come face to face with in Nigeria. I see a similarity between Wadume and Evans, the kidnapper. Evans was living in Magodo, living large.
And everybody in Magodo almost knew his house.
Yeah, and to the extent that while they were looking for him, even people were giving him information that they said they are looking for a kidnapper in this environment, so that he drives so color of a make of a vehicle. Now, they were giving him that information, and he was also sympathizing. I hope they will catch this guy, not knowing that he was the one. He had to be changing. That's the kind of life they live in their environment. They tend to be nice. sorry, I'm digressing, but then because there are similarities.
Yeah.
The levies they pay in Magodo, Evans will even pay for some of his neighbors. He would be dashing the gatemen money. So anytime he comes, they don't even bother to check. They will be saying Rankadede to him. Now, coming back to Wadume, it is so sad that, the IG set up a special squad against kidnapping and terrorism. And recall that these are the same guys that have been arresting the hard criminals. I think it was the team led by Keari that also arrested. At Atlanta, even two of these guys were part of those who arrested Evans. That died in these unfortunate incidents. Look at the confession of Wadume, telling us that the military guys assisted him to escape. They even assisted him to saw off the handcuffs on his hands. So, and
he was tracked to Kano. So that's kudos to the police, because that also tells us something else about
the police. They are actually working. I will give kudos to them. And now, part of the revelations is that when they checked the call logs of Wadume, there was a particular captain in the army that has more than 200 chats, conversations with Wadume.
That's right.
And also is another senior police officer who has been engaging exchanging information with Wadume for the past 6 months. So I want to believe that.
And if I read it right, in the police, among the police, there have to be records of how special teams are going to move. Not being a policeman, if you are a policeman, I apologize for not getting it right, but apparently you must document these things of where you're off to, what the objective is. You must have seen it. Allegedly, some policeman tore away all of that stuff, so that in case there should be an investigation, there wouldn't be the record. So what's going on here?
No, Yori, those of us who have been in this country for a while will tell you that there is no crime committed hardly without the involvement of security agencies. Let's start with the case of Orede, the Basita robbery. Let's also look at the robbery of in Ikeja.
That Wahum.
Wahum.
No, is that Oyenusi?
Yes.
Yes, Oyenusi. Wahum, yeah.
A sub-lieutenant was involved in the military. And that was just after the Civil War. Patrick Indovins, a CSP, a chief superintendent of police, then, how many of them in the police then? They were not up to 50. The CSP. A man from Southern Cameroon who became a Nigerian was involved in the robbery. So it should not surprise you. Even though with Kiyamu, the man in Edo, Anini, some policemen were also involved. Some police officers were involved. So, look.
But the same police officers now perform, because it looks like in this time
you have another set. There are some that live
in the same force.
There are some that
live.
There are some of them that live on criminality and crimes. So it is when they persuade these miscreants, these elements who should be in hell, that they have their own money. So it should not be a surprise.
So when we keep on talking about the very dire conditions under which the police have to perform their duties, there are some of them have sorted it out for themselves.
Some of them
so if you like, don't give me money for my
some of them patronize criminals, and they use them as their informants. At the same time, they also sell information to them.
It does make Nigeria seem like a very dangerous place.
No, it's not only in this country; it's everywhere.
There are bad cops.
You have double agents.
There are bad cops.
You have
everywhere.
Multiple agents and all the rest. There are bad cops in America and in Britain. So what we are saying is that we should address the peculiarity of our own situation and look at how the security architecture in this country can be made fraud-proof.
Well, okay, but given Majid, given the way we are, I don't really. It's like you're a Nigerian, and so when we say that among Nigerians, even though you won't press me, say, what do you mean? Given the way we are, I wonder if this is not like a good thing in the sense that because of the direct orders that we're given now, they performed. The police performed, which shows that the capability is there.
Yeah.
But now they couldn't say that they were distracted or that they were busy because they were told to drop everything and make sure that this case is sorted out.
Yeah, like Dr. Yusuf said, we have good cops and we have bad cops, and the police can really, I mean, face the challenge.
Sorry to interrupt you, Majid. Sorry to interrupt you. Good cops, bad cops,
Yeah.
dirty cops. Now, in those other jurisdictions where these expressions came from, bad cop or dirty cop, they are able to self-censor. They have units among themselves to that are being like the military police equivalent of the police.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yeah.
I don't know.
But the peculiarity of our own situation that makes it bad is because now we have talked about the conditions of service of the police, and how they live, and the kind of things, the kind of trainings they are exposed to. I mean, even their salary. I mean, those issues. But then those things are not enough to push a cop to crime or to push a cop to aiding and abetting criminals. But in this case, we should recall that it is actually the military that have been assisting Wadume. Now, there is intelligence sharing amongst the police and the military. I mean, we have some special squads against kidnapping that comprises of both the military, the police, and some other security agencies, the SSS, the DSS. So now they share information. During the information sharing, I mean, the military gets part of this, some of this information too, which probably they get, I mean, that gets leaked to the likes of Wadume. Because like you are talking about the movement of security architecture, security intelligence, I mean, they know how people, I mean, their officers are posted at checkpoints, and those that are on patrol, those that are combing, they are doing some special task. So these are characters that will give information to the likes of Wadume that come. A particular area will be hot today, don't go there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
our
people
guys
have
should
often
be
speculated that happens.
Yes, our
But
guys should be at so place, at so time. Don't go there. You need to chill for a while. I mean, now there has been a case of a kidnap rescue where the police or security operatives will get very close to where the kidnappers are, and those being held in captives will say, all of a sudden, the police or the security operatives would go back, whereas they were so close to them. And so, because there is the probability of exchange of information between, collusion between the top notch of the kidnapping architecture, because they have their own intelligence gathering too. So, but with the arrest of Wadume, I hope he will be able to sing enough so that we get to the root of those who are actually backing him.
Yes, that's the other good news.
Yes.
That the capture of Wadume does not mean the end of this operation.
Yeah.
In fact, it's almost like just the beginning. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning to the guest.
Thank you for calling in.
Uncle Yuri, I think it is time the president should address corruption in security agencies. What do I mean? The kidnapping saga has been on for a while now. If not that this special squad was set up and specially trained for it, the police never caught any kidnapper. All we hear is, a victim has been released or rescued. Yet we will not see the people that kidnapped the victim. Police will connive with the kidnappers, and they have been making business out of it until it got out of control that made the government to set up this thing. Now the BDP has joined. Where do we go from here, Uncle Yori? Is it the military, the security agencies that were meant to protect us that we have to be afraid of now? I think the time has come that the government must do something drastic about what goes on, the corruption that has engulfed our security agencies.
Mm-hmm.
This network, this kidnapping thing is a network. I'm suggesting that this particular one, this big arrest that has been made, should be thoroughly, exhausted. So as to reach, it's a network. They are connected in all across the state. Uncle Yori, if you watch, once a kidnapped victim has been once kidnapped,
yeah,
they don't arrest or they don't kidnap such person again. They share the information among themselves to ensure that the one that has already settled them does not come back to them. So if this is not arrested,
yes,
it will come to a point that people will be afraid to even move out of their houses. The government must stand up to this and use this particular case to ensure that this problem is finally resolved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lest, to continue Mr. George's thought, lest the security architecture, become the weak link in the very fight against criminality and corruption. But the good news, well, the Inspector General of Police has, put out a message there, really appreciating the empathy of the populace, and also while paying tribute to his men, the gallantry of his men. Yes, officers. Yes, so there's all of that. But I think it's very important that this special task force that was set up and that achieved this is not to be disbanded, if I understood it. It's like there are other cases. I think in the case of the murdered daughter of Afenifere chieftain,
Chief
Fashionati, I think the president also put out a directive that they must fish out, those people. So they're still on that. But you see, we're fighting corruption, but this is an aspect of corruption that we've sort of we didn't know. We took for granted the fact that we have a security apparatus, and then we can't blame us for thinking that it's not bad. But now there is incontrovertible proof, it would appear, that within this very security architecture, serious audits need to go on. I understand that there are bad cops, good cops, maybe bad military men. I understand that there's that all over the world, but we now need to bring a magnifying glass. Otherwise, our very lives depend on it. Yes. As someone was saying, as Mr. George was saying, you're not going to be afraid to step out of your own front door.
Yeah, you see, the country is passing through a stage in its evolution because most officers are gentlemen. Yes. They are performing. But in any society, they want to be the good, the bad, and the ugly of that society. So even within the religious circle,
yes,
you have good pastors, bad pastors, you have good imams, bad imams, and what have you. All the government should do is to reassess, strategize, and rejig is a security architecture to know those to be trusted and those not to be trusted. And those that are at the edge to be placed on security watch. If possible, look for more resources from other places.
And why it's particularly painful is that we continually say that we don't have enough policemen to do the job effectively. And so these guys are laboring under strenuous conditions.
Yeah, but it's different from getting involved in crime and criminality.
It is.
But because if you are working under strenuous conditions, it's different from getting involved in crime that will destabilize the whole system.
Indeed.
And also, at the end of the day, ruin your own career, ruin your family,
right.
ruin your own life,
yes.
and affect the society as a whole.
You're right.
Because you can imagine the anguish the nation went through when we lost these gallant officers.
Yeah.
And the embarrassment to the military, and again the police and the army exchanging
fire.
I mean, I don't know if that one is friendly fire or not. That's not, I don't know.
I mean, it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing to everybody. Not
Joshua,
to us, but even to the president.
Joshua in Irewale, good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Thank you for calling in.
Okay, good morning to your guests.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this is a good breakthrough. Grateful to God. I just want to appreciate your program. And for me, calling into your program, I do that because it is highly credible. Your program is a source through which I confirm anything I want to confirm. So I am glad that that sort of a platform is available to us at this time. And I want to say to those who think they can lie to us, we know the truth. Even by reading people's body languages, we know the truth. So those that are lying should just know that their time is up. They can no longer lie and get away with it. Before this Wadume matter, I was bothered about the killings going on in the north because I am a pro-life person. I mean, when one life is lost, I feel very, very sad. I take it personal. So I was looking at Boko Haram, then we had banditry, we had kidnapping and all that. And like the earlier caller said, George,
yes,
I was almost not able to go out. I was afraid for my children traveling. My son was going to go to Port Harcourt for his youth service. I was afraid every minute. So at a point I was asking myself, why did we become like this? Mm-hmm. And then somebody just mentioned to me that, come, look at this thing, stop taking it personal, that there is business in this bandit thing. There is business in Boko Haram. There is business in kidnapping. And I was saying, what do you mean by business? Exactly. He says it's a business now.
Make money.
Yes.
That yes. I should not take it personal. I said, boy, I'm bothered that people are being killed. Sure. He said, yes.
Sure.
But there's nothing you can do about it. He said, the military know what is going on. The police know what is going on. That unless we are willing to address the matter of people making money through all these activities, they will not be checked. And this is really very bad for us. Indeed. People are now using kidnapping human beings for making money. Banditry, Boko Haram, the business of it is bigger than anything else. Please, the president should restructure the military.
Indeed.
We know that things are bad, but nobody should use the fact that their earning is not enough to get into criminality.
Indeed. I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but thank you very much. It's a betrayal of the very trust of being a nation.
And the
oath of office.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, maybe we also need to, you see, we talk about the security architecture, the police, the military, yeah, but they work among us. They're not, it's not just they themselves. So the people, look at the challenge that we have. How well are the people cooperating with these authorities?
The fault, as Julius said, is in us.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, we don't volunteer information.
Yeah.
Number two, we don't make any incursion into the source or sources of wealth of our people.
Yes.
Anybody that can tell you he has money, he has the money. Nobody cares to ask.
Yeah,
even the family members will not ask.
Because we have a free society.
Because the next thing is for people to praising him, to say, yeah, like I did, his time has come. His time has come. That time came, has never been subjected to any analysis. Nobody has ever asked somebody who was struggling last week or last month, all of a sudden is out with a Mercedes-Benz car or SUV.
It's stupendous wealth.
And nobody's asking questions.
Yes.
In other places, it's because we have a lot of things to do. The banking sector has a lot to do because they go about looking for deposits and all the rest. So how that deposit is secured is somebody's business. and government agencies too. And I hope our tax body or bodies at state and federal level will also be able to do something.
Yeah.
Well, they've tried, they are trying with the BVN and all the rest, I don't know, and all the rest. But at the same time, it's not enough.
There's a lot more work to be done. A lot more.
do.
But I think everybody's eye has now, as they put it, cleared, as we say locally.
No, but as
Everybody's
I
eye
told
has
you,
cleared.
it has been on since
Yes.
the 60s. I don't know when the British, maybe perhaps when the British was leaving, they decided that, look, we'll give you a legacy that corruption will be your order of the day.
Macaulay, thank you for holding on. You're in London, the southeast, I believe.
Yes, Southeast London. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks, Obiori. Thanks for this program. I want to start by saying the Nigerian government under the military left the police completely behind in the scheme of things in form of salary. Look at recently the protests in Lagos, where those police officers were saying that confirmed ASP, when he got retired, his pension or whatever he called is 1.8, between 1.8 and 2 million. And warrant officer in the army take between 10 and 11 million. Since the army has been in government, they have taken it upon themselves to increase the salary of the army and left the police. In developed world, the best hands are in the police to crack very horrible cases and all that. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. The army have built the best schools for themselves. They have one of the best recruitment procedure into the officer corps. Look at the police colleges that we have. Look at the one in Ikeja. They were actually renting it for functions to raise money to run the college. Remember during Jonathan, when they went there, when newspapers went there, you can see the way they are being trained. Can you compare that with Gaji, with NDA, or even with NMS that just closed in Zaria? These are the issues.
I see you. I want to thank you for that analysis. I want to thank you, but the time is against us. So I really appreciate you, Macaulay, calling in on the program and making the point that it didn't start today. And it goes back to those unhappy days of war and the military taking over in Nigeria. we missed that particular one. The next guy, but Boss Mustafa there, secretary to the government, interesting, and then the 43 of them. Yeah. So it's going to take quite a while, but I imagine, everybody is going to be glued there because we've been looking out for this to know, well, first of all, we've known the names. Everybody now wants to know
the portfolios.
The portfolios.
Assigned.
Exactly, assigned. The secretary to the government, Boss Mustafa, I'm reminded that there was a news item where the president is reported to have said that, you know what, all ministers don't, please,
your letters, your memos,
whatever,
should be shining
don't deal with me directly. You now go through the secretary to the government, and that's the first guy in there. Interesting. This is, well, how about the chief of staff?
Yeah.
You see, between the secretary to government and chief of staff, how does this go?
Yes. The chief of staff structures the itinerary of the president. Exactly. It's like a clearing house.
Yes. Same thing with governors.
Same thing with governors. But the SGF is actually the secretary to government, is secretary to council. So Now, all ministers report through the SGF, but in the last dispensation, in the first dispensation of Buhari, they were reporting through the chief of staff. But now, I think what will happen now is the SGF will be the clearinghouse. The reporting line will still be through the chief of staff to the president. Yeah, but the SGF will be the clearinghouse for the ministers. The ministers report through him, and now passes the file through the chief of staff to the president. I mean, recall we were just discussing backroom that the query to the FRS, to Fowler, I mean, came
the
from
Inland Revenue guy.
Yeah, came from the office of the chief of staff.
The chief of staff.
And also the reporting line also, I mean, went through that route. So I want to believe that it's a way of putting process, but now governors, we don't know how the governors will report to the president, whether it's going to be through
The secretary to the government,
or to the chief
the president's chief of staff.
Yeah, chief of staff. But then I know they will need, the governors will need the chief of staff to book an appointment with the president.
Generally, the chiefs of staff generally set the president's agenda, no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, the itinerary, if you want. And interestingly, you brought up governors there because in Lagos, today is also the day, right?
Yes, yesterday.
Yesterday. It was yesterday that they had this particular.
They were assigned their portfolios.
And they have been assigned their portfolio. Well, Maji, a lot of people are. Are you familiar with the political structure in Lagos, and indeed in particular any notable, because they had their portfolios with them, right?
Yeah.
The key ones.
Yes, like the Commissioner for Finance in Lagos going to Mr. Olowo. I mean, I don't know whether it's a coincidence that
coincidence.
Olowo is
given what it means in Yoruba language.
Given what it means in Yoruba language.
He's the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
The Chancellor of the Exchequer. Olowo means a rich man. Now, I mean, they heading the portfolio of finance in Lagos. And we have the former SSG, Mr. Tunji Bello, a lawyer, a journalist, now heading the Ministry of Water Resources and Environment. Two very, very key ministries.
And he was there before.
He has experience
in environment.
And
He's very.
Well, what we learned was that he was actually persuaded to come back and clean clean up that place, especially given the friction between Visionscape and the PSPs. I mean, that left Lagos in a state of mess, so to say. I think he's coming back to actually. I mean, you could recall that you can even say is the coordinator of the commissioners, because yesterday he was the one that gave the vote of thanks on behalf of other commissioners, because he has been there before, he has seen it all, and he was former.
He's never left
SSG.
as a matter of fact.
Yes.
He's never left.
That is it, but it comes with
it
a lot
goes
of
back
experience.
to Tinubu's time.
Yeah.
You know, and then he was, before this appointment, secretary to the government.
Secretary, yeah, I was going to say that. So, and also the person who most of us will be dealing with, I mean, is also another veteran, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, the former editor, the longest-serving editor in Nigeria today, because he's been editor for almost 25 years.
Of the Nation newspaper.
The
latest.
Yeah.
His latest posting.
His latest posting, I mean, it was the pioneer editor of The Nation, but then, you know, he started as editor of Saturday Guardian, and he was also the pioneer editor of Comet newspapers. The Comet now transmuted into The Nation. So I want to believe it's a round peg in a round hole. I mean, we'll be able to do justice to the information and strategy in Lagos, so to say. And we have a couple of others like.
Let's take our friend Joe Igbokwe.
Yeah, Joe Igbokwe.
Because he's always in and out of studios.
Yeah, now Igbokwe will be missing him in terms of telling us, giving us news
And commentaries.
and commentaries on on Lagos politics,
Dealing with other political parties.
and dealing with other political parties, because the ministry has been assigned to now as a special advisor
on drainage.
on drainage. I mean, drainage to some. Most of the problems we have with flooding in Lagos has to do with the state of our drains.
The terrain of Lagos State.
And the terrain. So,
He's an engineer. So
he's an engineer.
And he's another guy who's been around forever in Lagos.
Yeah, even now, right? And you know, he actually was the pioneer GM of the Lagos Infrastructure Agency, LASIMRA. I mean, he did very well before he was moved to the wharf. No.
Even before then.
Yeah, his last posting was as MD of the wharf, Papa Wharf rate collection something. I mean, it has to do with managing that aspect, the state aspect of port fees for Lagos State. So it's still in the same, but as at the person in charge of drainage now, I mean, as an engineer, I want to believe it's another rank peg in a round hole.
Whereas we don't know who will be the Attorney General of the country, but in Lagos State, that's been sorted.
Yeah, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, Oni Banjo. It's it's an experienced lawyer and of repute, and we want to believe he's going to do justice to that because a lot.
He's an SAN, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a senior
because,
advocate of Nigeria. He's the only senior advocate of Nigeria in the cabinet. I think there are 2 other lawyers in the cabinet there, but then it's expectedly so.
Fasi, you're not, you're familiar with the gentleman professionally?
Well, to be a senior advocate of Nigeria, that presupposes that he must have passed through the Rubicon and that he's eminently qualified to be the Attorney General. Some of them will become senior advocates of Nigeria when they attain that position or by the time they leave that position, because they will have to take a lot of cases to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal, and to the Supreme Court. But in this case, he's already a senior advocate of Nigeria. So he's eminently qualified to hold that office.
Indeed, eminently qualified.
And another young man that actually struck me is the son of Dele Alake, Tuboson Alake, 34-year-old. I mean, he's been put in charge of the
technology and innovation.
Yeah, technology and innovation, because I mean, and he's 34 years old. I mean, we need the inclusion of the youth in a government of a state like Lagos. The youth populace in Lagos needs a sort of convergence in terms of somebody who they feel is part of their own. I mean, you need to go to the cinemas. You need to go to the way the youth are using technology especially in Lagos. And that's why during his campaign, Sanwo-Olu actually promised that there will be a lot of hubs for where you can go and use Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi and stuff like that, like major spots like the ShopRites and some other malls where the government would put, where you can actually go and use technology for coding and what have you, because we are in the technology age. So I want to believe that
Lagos has always been sort of a pioneer in that field, right?
Yes.
In technology.
I want to believe that Bosun would fit in properly in that.
His father was Commissioner for Information
and Strategy.
Going back to
for 8 years.
For 8 years.
The Tinubu era.
And he has always been very relevant in terms of management of information and strategy for for Lagos State. So there are quite a lot of other names in the like the former secretary, the outgoing secretary of the party, Wali Ahmed. He was also a commissioner.
He's a medical doctor.
Yeah,
he's a medical doctor.
He's a medical doctor. But then he went fully into politics. So He also has...
Well, there are a number of medical doctors that have done that.
Yes.
Olonimbe Mamora.
Mamora.
He's a medical doctor.
yes.
People remember, people don't necessarily remember that fact
and also
anymore.
and also Jide Idris. Even Dr. Bukola Saraki.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
So many of them.
Well, I guess there's
the Usamot is making a return.
Yeah.
who?
Usamot.
Yes.
Akimbele
Yusuf. Yeah.
Now, in terms of women in cabinets, both at the federal and at the state level, what's your comment?
Well,
Lagos is leading the pack.
Because the SSG is a lady.
Yeah.
Mrs. Jaji.
Yeah, and we have 13. We have 13 ladies
of them as commissioners. And, I mean, that's a huge lot.
Talk about progressive kind of...
especially compared to the federal cabinet, where we have just 7 women.
You know, when you talk about mobilization, women are to be found there, and therefore it is only expedient that they be compensated. And I think Lagos has taken the lead, and we hope other states will also follow suit, because in any campaign where the female gender is not present, then there's no rally. So we really believe that Lagos State has done well, and the other states will also be able to do as much.
Indeed. Well, I think we're going to have to leave it here because things are going on, you know, there's 2 streams, and I wonder who that was, but that's just another one. So maybe to have an uninterrupted flow, sort of, because this is where people would want to be. They just got to see what's going on. So we thank you for joining us, as always, this morning. But it's a special day because very important stuff is going on in Abuja, and we know you'd like to stay there. So that's our program today. I want to thank Dr. Fasi Yusuf and Mr. Majid Jamil. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Iyori Folare.